Hey guys, Matt here at Brewery. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Got a couple updates, so I'll try to not make this crazy. I'm going to start off with a beer. I've been sitting on this now for I think a couple of months, and I really needed to get through this. This is the Traveling Growler, the Brew Tubers Traveling Growler. So this has made its way around the country over the past. I don't know how it's been going on. I think it's been going on now for probably a few years. There hasn't really been a time limit on it, so sometimes it's kind of sat in someone's hands for 6 months. I've had it for a couple, and I definitely want to get this moving. I think the next stop goes to Josh, up in California, out in California. What's interesting is, it's got some stickers on there from the various places it's been. Not everybody has a sticker, but some of those that had them has put it on there. It comes with a neat little book. It just talks about what it is. It just says record on these pages what you're sending, so that next person knows what's in there. And there's some really interesting things that have come through here. I'm just going to talk about what's in there now, and we'll do a quick little review on it. Came to me from Mike Dean from the Dean's List. He put his Belgian quad in here. He's got some notes in here what the recipe is about, and he says that we should get some good carbonation and some tons of dark fruit in there. I'm not going to give away his recipe. Well, it looks like he used Mangrove Jack's Belgian Abbey yeast in this one. So I've actually never had a Belgian quad, so this should be fun. I just grabbed a glass out of the cupboard. All right, had a nice little pop on it, but I didn't catch that on camera because I had to take a little bit of, this was on here really tight, so I took a wrench and gently unscrewed it here. Pretty cool stainless steel growler. It's got a nice little gasket on there. Pretty nice. Oh, look at that. It's filled pretty close to the top. I already smell some of those dark fruits. See if I can pour this without making a mess. Wow. Can't complain about that. That was a very aggressive pour. That looks awesome. Super clear. You can see right through that. It's got a nice ruby kind of color to it. Yeah, very nice reddish hues to that. Really cool. Oh yeah. Get all that sweetness and dark fruits right there in the aroma. Very strong, very nice. I love that. It's like, you get like the plums, the prunes, raisins, dark cherries. Yeah, it almost kind of smells like a Fig Newton. It's really cool. Very, very nice. And the carbonation, it held very well in there. You can see the bubbles just streaming up right through there. It's got a nice sort of frothy head on the top of that. Very tight bubbles. It's got great lacing. I don't know if he put the ABV on this. I don't think he did. No, he didn't list it on there. Celia and Saz hops. So I think Celia is kind of like Fuggles. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Thanks, Mike, for sending this. Oh, man, that is good. Just came back from dinner with the wife. We went out to the pub and had some dinner there quickly while we were going out doing some shopping. And this is a really nice end of the night. Very nice sort of dessert beer. Very sweet. It is pretty sweet. I guess Belgian quad probably entails that it's probably high up there on the ABV, although I don't really taste, I get a little bit of the warmth from it, but I don't really taste like the alcohol notes in it. Super smooth for high ABV beer, but you can tell that it's there. You can tell that it's got a punch. But it's got a really nice sort of richness, sweetness to it. I love that. Yeah, and those dark fruits just really complements this nicely. Really nice beer. Thank you, Mike. Great job. I have to go easy on that and try to enjoy it as I put this video together. So today we had a brew day. Brewed the Drop Kveik Nate. That's for the yeast experiment, the first one that we have going for BrewTubers. I believe registration is probably over now, but definitely follow us along. You know, if you're interested in joining the club or even just checking us out, by all means, heck, you know, go ahead and jump out to brewtubers.com, join in on the fun. You can kind of watch from the sidelines for a little while we're doing these yeast experiment if you're not already joined in. And I'm sure you'll want to jump in and join us on the next thing that we're doing. So other than the brew day, I'll get to that footage after this video. But I ordered a canner. Thanks to Dennis Pinn for giving his very, very thorough review and very honest feedback on the October can seamer. Went ahead and picked that up. I'll probably show it in maybe the next video or what have you, because I believe it's coming in tomorrow. So it's on its way. I'm very excited. And I realized that with the canner means I'm going to have to change my label, because the labels that I'm using are meant for bottles and they're going to be really tiny on the can. And actually the other problem I've been having with the labels is every time you throw the bottle into the refrigerator, it kind of shrinks and it bubbles up a little bit on you. So I wanted to see if I could step that up a little bit too. My wife got a Cricut machine and she's been messing around with that for her various crafts and things that she's been doing. And she's toying around to see if she can make like vinyl labels on that. And I'm also looking into doing that myself. I'm just trying to see what the best way to do it would be. Most cost-effective way to do that it would be as well, because vinyl labels aren't cheap. Well, anyway, I asked for some samples from this company called onlinelabels.com. onlinelabels.com. And they sent me some stuff here, but I actually printed out a couple. I'll overlay it on the screen. I printed out a couple of samples on various different types of paper. Because one thing I was noticing is it looks really, really good on the screen, but when I printed it out, it looked a little bit dull. When I first printed it out, yeah, here you go. When I first printed it out, I printed it out on a piece of paper. It looks really nice. I'm actually aiming for 5.8. The reason for that is I want it to fit the can. So 8 or 5 height is enough to go from the indentation up the top here, and on the same thing on the bottom. Gives you a little bit of room in between. And it wraps all the way around the can. So, and I had to make my logo a little bit bigger, some of the letters bigger, so it could really use up some of that real estate. And I want to get into putting more information on the side of the can, some more information, on the other side, because it's a bigger label, so I have the opportunity to put more stuff on there. Just numbers like, IBUs and anything else that might be interesting, like what kind of hops I use or things like that. But anyway, they've been coming out dull on paper. I tried them on a couple of different printers. My wife has a printer which the colors came out a little bit different on hers. I found out that the best way to get it to show closest to what it was on the screen was printing it onto a photo paper. It's an HP printer, and they have these little photo cards you can throw into the camera or into the printer, and that's probably the closest that it looks like on the screen. Looks pretty vibrant. I really like that. And now I just have to start messing around with this. These came in today, so I haven't had a chance to mess with them yet. But Online Label sent me a sort of a care package, I guess. I just asked for some samples. They actually sent me 25 of them, so that's more than I was expecting. I was expecting to get like 5. And I guess they give you this sort of this template. It tells you how to use the template. And what it really is it's supposed to be a vinyl label, just a plain sheet so you can print on it. They actually have different kinds. This one is the matte finish. It's weatherproof and it's meant for inkjet printers. It's pretty thick, so I would like to believe that it's going to hold up well. But what it is, because it's 5x8, you could fit 2 on a page. So there's 2. You can't see it on here from that far away, but 2 on each page. I think the price right now on their site was 100 sheets goes for $50. So it's 200 labels. And with the canner, I ordered a case of the 16-ounce cans, this size can. It's pint size. And I think you get 192 or 196 cans in a box. So I figured $50 for all the labels, and I'll have enough to, you know, fit on every single can. So that should be cool. I'm gonna mess around with that, I think, overnight tonight, and maybe tomorrow, whatever, you know, whatever it takes, just to get that kind of lined up and templatized and things to make that work good. But yeah, here in the near future I'll be canning, so that's pretty exciting, and I'll be shipping things out that way. You know, I've seen you guys that have had the cans. I know Dennis does canning, Gary does canning, the Exit 12 does that, and you guys, when you send them in, I mean, I look at how I send beers. I send beers in like these big boxes, and you guys are sending them in these tiny little USPS boxes, and I'm sure that it's really saving on shipping. So I'm really looking forward to that. I love sharing my beer with everybody, and shipping does get expensive, so I don't do it too often. But yeah, as far as the brew day, everything went good. The numbers are pretty much what I expected them to be, pretty close. I'm going to try to print all that information on the can when I send it out, so everybody knows exactly what like pH is, what the OG was before and after the boil, pH before and after the boil, that sort of stuff. Dates, you know. I use the Kveik Juggernaut yeast. You'll see that in the video. It's already bubbling way back there. I mean, I probably brewed, I don't know, I finished up the brew day probably 3 or 4 hours ago. So I'm sure it started a ways ago. I actually have the tilt in there, so I've been watching that, and that's already taken off. It's already up to, it started off at 1055. It's already down to 1050. It's already bubbling pretty steadily in there, and I'm looking at the temperature of the fermentation chamber, and it's already at 80 degrees. That heat belt's probably not going to go much higher than that. I think I've been able to get the last Kveik beer up to 85. So we will see. 80 is pretty good for that. Kveik likes it warm, so yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'm not going to ramble anymore. I'm going to show you the brew day footage from here, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. All right, getting a little bit of a late start today with the recording, at least. It's been a beautiful day out today. It's 85. So we have been mashing in for 15 minutes. This is the dropped Kveik Nate, the yeast experiment brew tubers. Got a good mash going here. See that? Without fogging up the lens. Getting ready to we'll take a pH sample here shortly. But got the little hops ready to go, thanks to Beer and Wine. Alright, was aiming for 5.3. That's pretty close. I'll leave it alone. Alright, finished sparging. I don't think I caught any of that on video, but we're going up 100% manual mode. Reached that boil. Actually low on my volume. I'm supposed to be at 7 1/4. Yeah, and I got about 6 3/4. So I'm like a half a gallon short. I got to go back to the Brewfather's profile and see where I went wrong there. But yeah, that I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning out the mash tun. All right, we reached a rolling boil. Knocked it down to 55% efficiency. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and put in the first hop drop. And start the clock. 60 minutes. All right, 5 minutes in the boil. The recipe calls for some more hops. Let's go ahead and throw those in there. Boom. All right, let's flame out. And we're gonna go ahead and turn on this water. Got the whirlpool going already for sanitizing the chiller and getting the air bubbles out of any of the lines there. Go ahead and turn on the chilling water to bring this down to whirlpool temperatures. There we go. Won't take long at all to bring that down. Okay, so the recipe in Beersmith calls for a whirlpool temperature of 185, so I'm going to turn that off now. because that will fall to 185 pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do here now is set this to 185. This way we can keep it there. Yeah, see, that chiller works really good. It drops really quick. All right, let's go ahead and put in the hops. Smell-o-vision. All right, so we'll bring that back up there, and there we go. All right, just double check with Nate. And even though the Beardsmith file says 185, probably just defaulted that way. He normally lets it drop to 170, 180, somewhere in that range. So I'm just going to do what I normally do. I set the, I cool it down, and I set the PID to 175. That way it stays at 175 for the whirlpool. I don't have to worry about it fluctuating. So it's working out all right. We're doing the whirlpool now, and check back in a bit. All right, so a little low on the volume. We're just at the 5-gallon mark, so that's fine. Like I said, I gotta go back and readjust. Here's a Juggernaut from a yeast starter I did a couple weeks ago. I know that's probably more than I need, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in there. I'm gonna decant the top here. Save some of that liquid so I can mix this up. Plenty to do the job. Boom. And of course, we can't forget the tilt. Do that on this one again. Try to do this one-handed without making a mess. In you go. Thunk. All right, there she is, all put away. Pitched. Tilts in there. Got a blow off. Set up here in some Star Sand. Because last time I used Kveik, it went nuts. This is the Juggernaut. So we'll see how it does. Now the heat belt that's on this, you can usually only get it to 80 or 85. So we'll go with that. A little warmer than room temperature. Pitched it at 72. I got the ferment chamber set at 80. And now we just wait and watch.